Welcome to the Etihad Cargo Connections with 10 Furlongs magazine. I'm your host, Alex Freeman. Today we speak to Mick Price, one of Australia's leading racehorse trainers for over 3 decades. We hope to discuss his exciting What You Need. The colt has been unbeaten in his last 3 runs, and Price is hoping to race the colt straight into the arms of an Everest slot holder. So let's get started. Welcome, Mick. How are you today?
I'm fine. Yourself?
Doing quite well, doing quite well. I'm excited to talk to you and learn a little bit more about What You Need. So What You Need is a very exciting horse. What are your plans for him this season?
Look, when we get the feel that one of our horses may be Group 1 class, I usually don't mess around too much. I've got horses here, that have won good group races, having start number 4, 5, 6. So he's one of them. And as a 4-year-old entire, we're always thinking, can we get a home for him at stud? So this spring, look, if we can't do the job in the Everest or don't actually get the slot, we need to make a Group 1 sprinting colt out of this horse. So he's not going to go past 1,200 meters. We do have a plan for him, which is maybe start on the 9th of September, and that's 3 weeks into the Premiere. The Premiere will be the meeting place for all the Everest aspirants. That's where they'll meet 2 weeks before the Everest. So to be quite honest, I'm at a disadvantage, I believe, with my horse because he's probably the most lightly raced horse in the field, the least experience. The time between runs has not been great for him. He's had too long off, in my opinion, and I'm short on being able to condition him. But we're going in on a preparation which leaves no margin for error, and we'll do our best.
What are What You Need strengths and weaknesses as a racehorse?
Mentally, he's beautiful. He's 16-1. He stands over ground. He's got speed. He's got stamina. Got a beautiful set of lungs on him. Got a big, deep girth. He's got a lovely big stride on him. We've kept him to big tracks at this stage because he's quite a sizable horse. They're his strengths. His weaknesses, probably a lack of racing and inexperience and conditioning. He's got a little bit of weight on him at the moment. And, the Everest can be run on wet ground, on really wet ground. So that's something that we'll have to sort of cross fingers on. He's also conformationally a little bit straight in front, through the fetlock. So I think you might call them ankles over there. So, we just need to be a bit careful with him from time to time. Having said that, one of his first up runs may be Moonee Valley, which is a very tight track. But, I've just got to juggle a few things around with him as usual.
Now, you mentioned perhaps feeling at a bit of a disadvantage with What You Need's training schedule, but if you were to get an Everest slot, how do you rate What You Need's chances of winning?
To be open, I love Giga Kick. He's the best sprinting horse in this country at the moment, I believe. A beautiful young sound gelding, continuing on the way up. He'll be the one to beat. I Wish I Win is a dynamic sprinter. And of course, I guess Nature Strip will be in it. Getting on a bit and maybe a little bit past his best. And then, of course, you've got the Golden Slipper winner who's now turned 3, Shinko. So how do I rate his chances? I rate he's got to be better than those 4 at least. So, that's what we face. But, it's a challenge. We'll face the challenge and do our best.
I'd love to hear a little bit more of your thoughts on some of those other horses that could line up in the Everest, especially Giga Kick, since you brought them up.
Well, look, he came from humble beginnings. He's a $6,000 yearling, but he's won $9 million. And I've watched him every time he's been to the races, and he's furnished. And, I think he's just a very, very good sprinter. And if he runs in the Everest, he could possibly also run in the Golden Eagle as a 4-year-old. So there's a $20 million race and a $10 million race that he can run in. But he's got a beautiful action. He sits off the speed on those big tracks and just finds and finds and finds. And they're the good horses. look, we've had some really nice horses, and they have that length of run on them. You know, the best horses can get going from the half mile and keep going to the line. The next best go from the 600. The next best go from the 400. The ones who only average probably have got a little 200-meter run on them, you know. Mm-hmm. I wish I win if he stays sound. He's a brilliant 1,200-meter horse. As I said, Shinzo has got to come up from his slipper win as a 3-year-old colt, but he's in good hands. And, you know, these are the horses that we've got to beat. These are the horses that are the prime chances in the race.
Now, looking at the McEwen Stakes at the Valley next month, for what you need and potentially Giga Kick being there, would you rather have Giga Kick there next month, or wait until the Everest to have that crack at him?
You've got to fit your horse into the programs that allow you to fit your horse in. I'm not locked into running into the 1,000 meters around Moonee Valley. If you know Moonee Valley, it's a really tight track, and you need a lot of luck around that track. There are horses specific to Moonee Valley. If they win at Moonee Valley and they handle Moonee Valley, we take them back to Moonee Valley. If horses don't handle Moonee Valley, we stay away from Moonee Valley. That's what sort of track it is. That's not our only option. Like, that is the 9th of September. On the 16th of September, you know, he flies down the Flemington Straight. Now, the Bobby Lewis is a 1,200-meter race. The problem with that is we're in Victoria, 1,000 kilometres away from Sydney. And if he goes to the Bobby Lewis, which he might on the 16th, then I've got to get into Sydney and get him settled in. He's going to be second up. He's going to have a trip in between. It's not a formula where I would be backing a horse. You get the 3 weeks, you get him to be over his first up run, and then you've got time to let him bounce back. You've got time to rise him to the 1,200 meters, and then you've got time to taper off. But in 2 weeks plus transport, you don't have that time. So it's tricky. For that reason, I'm looking at the 1,000 meters at Moonee Valley. I would love to run down the straight. And look, if things go wrong, we can always take that option.
What You Need was purchased for 180,000 Australian as a yearling. How did that sale come about?
That's a good question, because I wouldn't have bought him. But my training partner, Michael Kent Jr., his father trained Serpedo. Serpedo's the sire of What You Need. So he used to ride Serpedo. So he's a Serpedo fan. Mick, can we buy a Serpedo? No, we can't. Please, can we buy a Serpedo? This is the first year. I said, it failed the scope. No business. Right? Second year, can we buy a Serpedo? I said, which one do you want? You know, albeit that he was conformationally a bit upright in front. We felt we could put the deal together, and for 180,000, which was still, I thought, plenty of money for a unproven horse that I think Serpedo might have stood for a very low service fee at the time too, and he wasn't a Group 1 horse. So anyway, Michael Kent Jr. put the syndicate together, and Widden Stud stayed in, and we put a group together, and here he is. He's a really good colt.
And how has the What You Need ownership group been supporting you in his preparation for the season ahead?
They've been fantastic. You know what? I think if you're a good trainer, you're there every day, you absolutely live and breathe what you do, and you're good at what you do, all you ask is that you be left alone. Mm-hmm. Now, you know, with the software that we have available to us as trainers now, we put all the information out. We can put the video out of the gallop straight away. We put the comment from the work rider straight away. We put our comments. We put pre-trial information. They come to the trial, post-trial, pre-race, post-race. All that information goes out, and it goes out to all the owners immediately. I think when they've got that information, they're at ease. They are fantastic. I've hardly heard from them, and we have not had a sweet ride on the horse. He copped a bad needle in the jugular about 10 or 12 weeks ago. He was in the veterinary hospital for a little while. He had a clot. He was clotting. The clot broke away from his near side jugular. We suspect a piece in the lung. He had multiple infections on antibiotics, and all through it, They were fantastic. If you keep your information up and you're in front of the information, I think owners, it puts them at ease, you know.
Mm-hmm.
If you've got owners sitting at home not knowing what's going on with their horse, then I think you get the trouble.
Any other standout runners from the yard we should watch out for over the coming months?
Well, yes, I've got a new horse from Perth that is flying called that will race this Saturday the 19th. Laced Up Heels will run in a 1,200-meter listed race. She's a lovely 4-year-old mare, first start for new trainer. Charm Stone, I thought was a Group 1 filly. She won a Group 3 at her first start. She's a beautiful filly. While between drinks for her, we're trying to win the Golden Eagle this year. We have won it once, $10 million race. We've got Golden Path. We've got a beautiful colt called Amenable. First up on Saturday. He'll run well. We've got a horse called Globe, who's unbeaten, 4 for 4. He'll run possibly on the 9th of September. So we've got some nice horses there, and they're all horses that you should follow.
And as a yard, what is your main aim for the upcoming season?
The stakes races and the prize money is where I go home at night and wake up totally satisfied. I love winning a race anywhere, and I hate losing a race anywhere. So, you know, I still, after all these years, feel horrible about losing, and I love winning. So if we can go into the big races and win the good prize money, our benchmark for the year is usually about 10 or 12 million for the year. So we usually meet that. If I could meet that in the next racing season and above, my job will be done. We train over 100 winners a year. You know, we're not a massive stable, but we're just good, healthy, medium-sized stable.
Now, before we head into this last question, for everyone who is enjoying watching this, don't forget to share your comments, like the video, and subscribe to our channel, 10 Furlongs Magazine. Mick, last question from me here. If you could train the winner of any race in the world, what would it be and why?
Okay. You know, the Kentucky Derby is a revered race. I'll never get to train it because I'm not going to America. But if you're in Australia, if you train the winner of the Melbourne Cup, it's like you're famous forever. You know, your relatives all talk about it. That would be one race. I don't train a lot of stays because a lot of different reasons. I run a business, and, you know, I like to run a very profitable business, and there's more profit in the sprinter milers in this country and the programs and the number of races you can have. I would love to win the Slipper with a colt, and I would love to have a share in it.
I love it. I love it. Mick, thanks so much for joining us, and looking forward to seeing what You Need does this season and what the rest of the horses in the stable do.
Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure.